Alright guys, here's my next project. I got this copper bar here. It is 12 inches long, it's an 1/8 inch thick, and it's 1.5 inches tall. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make a battery cover, bar cover, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so it's just a little thinner. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it up. I'm going to do what's called annealing. I do this to my rifle brass. It's where I get the copper real hot and then I let it cool, and that's going to make it softer. And then I have a steel block. I forgot to bring it out, but it has a 90-degree edge on it. Hopefully I'll be able to bend it, but if I do have to hammer it, it won't take much after the annealing. It's fairly hard right now. There's no way I could bend that just with my hands. So we'll do stage 1. And I guess I won't even tell you what I'm going to do with it eventually. You'll just have to wait and see. So let's see how that goes. I also applied my decals, so no one will ask, is it a Harley? No, it's a Yamaha. Alright, I just got it hot. I tried flipping it over, and look what I did to my glove. These are my favorite riding gloves too. But anyway, thing's real hot. There's some junk on there. That'll buff off easy. It doesn't matter what it looks like right now. But the metal's soft, but extremely hot, so don't touch it, even with a glove on. Alright, next step, cool, then bend. Yeah, I water quenched it and brushed off sort of that blackness, and this is what's left. It's really a nice looking patina. It's really unique. I didn't mean to do that. Backside, doesn't look so good, but that doesn't matter. I could leave this finish as it is. You know, something unique. You can only do so much with paints and coatings. When you're using a real material, I think it makes a difference. So now it's very soft. I tried bending it with my hand, and it's easy to bend. So as you work it, it will become stiff again. If that happens, just hit it with the blowtorch again, get it hot, then let it cool, and it'll soften once again. So what I got to do now is line this up and start making my bends. I've got my steel block here, which will help me make a nice edge. I don't know if I'll have to use a hammer or not. We'll see. Either way, I'm going to bend her up and see what happens. Well, it looked a heck of a lot easier on YouTube. So I'm having trouble making the bends with just an anvil and a hammer. So it's not really good. So what I'm going to have to do is get a vise and then clamp it in there to make those 90-degree bends, because it's really hard. So I'm beating on it. It's going to look good in the end, trust me. But I need to borrow my friend's vise. Alright guys, now I'm getting somewhere. A good friend of mine loaned me a vise. Make sure you borrow a friend's vise, because you're going to mess up the powder coat and you don't want to mess up yours. Just kidding. But anyway, you're going to need a hammer. I'm using the wrong hammer for the job, but you know, use what you got. Definitely going to need an oven mitt. Torch. I got my piece of steel down there to mainly do the straight parts. But what I'm doing is I'm getting it good and hot. You know, it's annealing it, but I'm actually forming the metal when it's kind of hot. I'm having a little better job with that. These tight angles I'll put in the vise, and then I'll bend it by hand, and then I'll whack it with the hammer. If I just anneal just the joint where I want to bend it, I'll use my pen and I'll make a mark with the Sharpie. You can kind of see it right there. I'll do the bend for this gradual bend, because there's a gradual bend in the other piece, the stock piece. It's going around a brake reservoir. I just bend by hand, so I don't get that sharp angle. So I've got one more angle to do, and I'll kind of show you how I do it. So, well, it's going to be hard to do this with one hand, and that thing is still hot, so I can't touch it either. But anyway, I'm going to make a mark. I'll show you when I blowtorch it. I'll make another section. Okay, now I have my line drawn, and I'm going to anneal and warm it up right in that section. I want the other parts to be firm, So I'm not going to do the whole thing, just a section at a time. Despite the annealing and the heat, it still takes some muscle to do. This stuff looks way easier on TV. Alright, here we go. I'm going to try to get the band. Don't rush me, guys. Make sure I bend it the right way. And okay, so this has to come out. So I'm going to put it... line that up in the vise with my line. Get it good and tight. Make my band. Oh, I don't want to undo the bend I made above. So I like to kind of push down, give it some muscle. Hoorah! Oh, I'm bending it. Come on, buddy. Let's do it. Come on. Oh, needs more heat, but I kind of got a bend in there. Like I said, it looks way easier on TV. But I'm going to line her up and see how we're doing. Okay, guys. Fitment. I did round the edges. The stock one has sort of a roll on the corners there. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm thrilled with how it fits. I got the bends just right. The holes, oh my gosh, they lined right up. So I'm a happy camper. There's just a little bit of space between this box and the band. But instead of trying to reshape, I'm just going to get like a foam strip and put it on the underside of the band so it'll be firm when it's placed on there. But you guys, you may think, wow, this looks awesome. You must be done. I have just begun. I have some really cool things going to do this. That's really going to put it over the top. I don't know what I'm doing, so maybe I'm going to screw it up, but even if I just left it just like that, I think it would be awesome. Of course, I would get the marker off. I could polish it. I could leave it just, you know, beat up like it is now. Even with the scratches and stuff, I mean, you see the tool markings. You at least know a guy made this by hand. You know, it's not anything you can buy. So yeah, stick around and maybe I'll show you what I'm gonna do with this thing. Okay, now I'm all buffed up and I put my decal on there. That's what I want to say. So next step is going to be taping it off. I'm going to use a Sharpie on the edges along here. I'm going to tape everything else off. I'm just going to leave a section exposed around here where I want to do the etching. And I've got my ferric chloride. I'm going to put in this basin here. Don't use a metal one because remember, it's acid. And I also did a wipe down with some isopropyl alcohol before I put the decal on, so I can get it. I don't want any oils or anything on there. So yeah, here we are, and hopefully the next time you see this video, it'll be looking good. Okay, now I've got it in the ferric chloride. You can see where I've taped off everything. I just got it propped up so the bottom doesn't touch the bottom of the vessel here. Probably could have got it lower just to use less of the ferric chloride. Now I can reuse it. I'll just put it back in the bottle. It can dissolve so much metal. But I'm going to wait about a healthy 20 minutes and then look at it. Maybe 30, I don't know. But we'll see. It's a thick piece, so I can go deep on it. There are some subtle areas of the writing, so I don't want those to get messed up. But here we go. Alright guys, it's been etched, buffed. It's kind of shiny. If I had a shiny bike, I'd probably leave it just like it is. But since my bike is matte and dark, I'm going with the black patina. The X is a little jacked up. I don't know how it happened, but it broke, and I tried to put it back together. But you know what? The whole thing, if you look at it, is kind of jacked up anyway. So it's sort of the look I'm going for. A beat up piece of metal. But I think it has good qualities. You know, every little dent and smack and tear and rip in this thing came from me. So I'm kind of proud of it, and I don't think the X looks bad at all. But it is my first try, so hey, what the heck, only gets better from here. Alright, here's the finished product. I just put the patina on it. It's real subtle right now. I'm undecided if I want to give it a light buff or not. But you can still see it. It's kind of dark and ratty, but that's kind of what I was going for. This is XV950. So, there it is. Alright, so there she is on the bike. So you can see that. I think it turned out pretty good. I mean, I couldn't roll the edges like the stock piece. It ain't exactly straight. You know, I mean, I did put a foam strip on the back because it kind of popped out just a little bit, and the actual case here was a little loose, but now it fits perfect. You know, yeah, it's definitely a one-of-a-kind part. I mean, if I had to sell something like this, it would be in the hundreds of dollars. You know, the pain and time and just cost too, man. I had to get a custom-made vinyl sticker and, you know, ship that, and the copper itself ain't cheap. But yeah, it's getting dark in here, but dang, that looks good. So I think I did right with the dark patina. You know, I was actually hoping to get a little darker, but you know, depending on the light, sometimes it looks pretty dark like that. So overall, it's a good deal. So maybe you'll try it yourself.